given everything I see in this room, from this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning that it has for me, all the meaning that it has for me. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today here in my bamboo. We're not from a window today, but well, I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks to anybody that'd like to learn how to be happy, to have salvation. Jesus uses the word salvation and happiness, as I see it. Whenever he uses the word salvation, he's saying, I just want you to be happy. I want you to feel like you were created. Here it's on January the 2nd of 2025, excuse me, Thursday. And let's go ahead and read through the lesson. I have given everything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning that it has for me. The exercises with this idea are the same as those for the first one. Begin with the things that are near you and apply the idea to whatever your glance rests on. Then increase the range outward. Turn your head so that you include whatever is on either side. If possible, turn around and apply the idea to what was behind you. Remain as indiscriminate as possible in selecting subjects for its application. Do not concentrate on anything in particular, and do not attempt to include everything you see in a given area, or you will introduce strain. Merely glance easily and fairly quickly around you, trying to avoid selection by size, brightness, color, material, or relative importance to you. Take the subjects simply as you see them. Try to apply the exercise with equal ease to a body or a button, a fly or a floor, an arm or an apple. The sole criterion for applying the idea to anything is merely that your eyes have lighted on it. Make no attempt to include anything particular, but be sure that nothing is specifically excluded. Okay, do you understand? Don't pick things based on how important they are to you, or how much you don't like them or do like them. Just the fact that you look at them, not because it draws your attention because of its color or because of some meaning. Just look at it, and if your eye looks at it, that oak tree, I've given that oak tree all the meaning it has for me. I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. And then just go around and look at those things around you and tell yourself, I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. So, we could do that with a guitar right now, and you'd have your morning or your whatever time of day you're listening to this. So you have one of them right now. And I'll just hum when it's I've given that and I'll just say and you fill in the blank and just look around. Let's take a minute and do it right now. I have given everything I see in this bamboo, from this ground, in these woods, in this place, all the meaning that it has for me, all the meaning that it has for me. I have given that all the meaning that it has for me. I have given them all the meaning that it has for me. I have given all the meaning that it has for me. I have given all the meaning that it has for me, all the meaning that it has for me. I have given this bamboo all the meaning that it has for me. I have given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. Well, hopefully you did your minute. If that doesn't help you, just to kind of sing it and do it, well then do it again afterwards. But take a minute today, twice, and look around you, and just wherever your eye lights on, tell yourself, I have given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. You might start off by saying that, and then say, I have given that post all the meaning that it has for me, or whatever you see in your field of vision. Okay, so do that twice today. And I mentioned that you don't want to do it more than twice, because he's going to be narrowing in on some other stuff, and he doesn't want us to take this I guess to an extreme, to the point where we don't get the real overall picture. I gave you a balancing that really everything has meaning. Yesterday, nothing I see has any, I've given everything today it's I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. But what the wind really blowing up here. Nothing I see in this place means anything was our yesterday's lesson. And what he's really, he doesn't want us to spend too much time on that, just a couple times a day. And if you're a second year student or more, and you're going back because you really want to get it right, and you've already developed the habit of checking in with God every hour, keep doing that. But let me give you something else to put your focus on. Use lesson either 361, our last 5 lessons of the year, or do the introduction. As a matter of fact, the introduction is so important that I put it to the same melody. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll close with that if we have plenty of time today. We'll close with that song, the introduction. But that's something that you Course in Miracles students that are going through it for your second time or more can spend your day doing that. And also, we're going to look at the, I'm trying to get situated so the wind doesn't blow everything. It's really come up really strong windy. It was a little windy, but it's come up a little stronger now. Okay, let's go take a look in our preface. And this is what it says, is this next section. So let's read through it. And I'm just going to read through it. If you're a first-year student or a second or third-year student, I'd encourage you to go back and read it much slower. This particular reading that we're getting ready to do is the whole Course in Miracles, what it really truly says. And the better you understand this, the better it's going to be to come in line when we get ready to, as we study through the text and the workbook. Okay? What it says, and this was not written by Helen, this was that interdictation she spoke about, wrote this section right here, what it says. She wrote the first 2 sections of the preface. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Of course, that's how the introduction ends. This is a Course in Miracles. This is how a Course in Miracles begins. It makes a fundamental distinction between the real and the unreal, between knowledge and perception. Knowledge is truth under one law, the law of love or God. Truth, unalterable, eternal, unambiguous. Truth is unalterable, eternal, and unambiguous. It can be unrecognized, but it cannot be changed. It applies to everything that God created, and only what He created is real. It is beyond learning because it is beyond time and process. It has no opposite, no beginning, and no end. It merely is. The world of perception, on the other hand, is the world of time, of change, of beginnings and endings. It is based on interpretation, not on facts. It is the world of birth and death, founded on the belief in scarcity, loss, separation, and death. It is learned rather than given, selective in its perceptual emphasis, unstable in its functioning, and inaccurate in its interpretations. From knowledge and perception, respectively, two distinct thought systems arise which are opposite in every respect. In the realm of knowledge, no thoughts exist apart from God, because God and His creation share one will. The world of perception, however, is made by the belief in opposites and separate wills, in perceptual conflict with each other and with God. What perception sees and hears appears to be real because it permits into awareness only what conforms to the wishes of the perceiver. This leads to a world of illusions, a world which needs constant defense precisely because it is not real. When you have been caught in the world of perception, you are caught in a dream. You cannot escape without help, because everything your senses show merely witnesses to the reality of the dream. God has provided the answer, the only way out, the true helper. It is the function of His voice, His Holy Spirit, to mediate between the two worlds. He can do this because while on the one hand He knows the truth, on the other, He also recognizes our illusions, but without believing in them. It is the Holy Spirit's goal to help us escape from the dream world by teaching us how to reverse our thinking and unlearn our mistakes. Forgiveness is the Holy Spirit's great learning aid in bringing this thought reversal about. However, the Course has its own definition of what forgiveness really is, just as it defines the world in its own way. The world we see merely reflects our own internal frame of reference, the dominant ideas, wishes, and emotions in our minds. Projection makes perception. That's a quote out of page 445 of the text. We look inside first, decide the kind of world we want to see, and then project that world outside, making it the truth as we see it. We make it true by our interpretations of what it is we are seeing. If we are using perception to justify our own mistakes, our anger, our impulses to attack, our lack of love in whatever form it may take, we will see the world as evil, destructive, malice. Let's read that again. If we are using perception to justify our own mistakes, our anger, our impulses to attack, our lack in love in whatever form it may take, we will see a world of evil, destruction, malice, envy, and despair. All this we must learn to forgive, not because we are being good and charitable, but because what we are seeing is not true. We have distorted the world by our twisted defenses and are therefore seeing what is not there. As we learn to recognize our perceptual errors, we also learn to look past them or forgive, to learn to look past. Give up what comes before you, to forgive. At the same time, we are forgiving ourselves, looking past our distorted self-concepts to the self that God created in us and as us. Let me read that last couple of sentences again. As we learn to recognize our perceptual errors, we also learn to look past them or forgive. At the same time, we are forgiving ourselves, looking past our distorted self-concepts to the self that God created in us and as us. Sin is defined as lack of love. That's on page 11 of the text. And I did mention that we're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace, the Foundation for Inner Peace version. Sin is defined as lack of love, since love is all there is. Sin in the sight of the Holy Spirit is a mistake to be corrected, rather than an evil to be punished. Since love is all there is, sin in the sight of the Holy Spirit is a mistake to be corrected, rather than an evil to be punished. Our sense of inadequacy, weakness, and incompletion comes from the strong investment in the scarcity principle that governs the whole world of illusions. From that point of view, we seek in others what we feel is wanting in ourselves. We, in quotes, love. We love another in order to get something ourselves. That, in fact, is what passes for love in the dream world. There can be no greater mistake than that, for love is incapable of asking for anything. Isn't that something? No greater mistake than thinking you're going to get something when you love someone, because love is incapable of asking for anything. Only minds can really join, and whom God has joined, no man can put asunder. That's page 356 in the text. It is, however, only at the level of Christ mind that true union is possible, and has in fact never been lost. The little I seeks to enhance itself by external approval, external possessions, and external love. The self that God created needs nothing. It is forever complete, safe, loved, and loving. It seeks to share rather than to get, to extend rather than project. It has no needs and wants to join with others out of their mutual awareness of abundance. The special relationships of the world are destructive, selfish, and childishly egocentric. Yet if given to the Holy Spirit, these relationships can become the holiest things on earth, the miracles that point the way to the return to heaven. The world uses its special relationships as a final weapon of exclusion and a demonstration of separateness. The Holy Spirit transforms them into perfect lessons in forgiveness and in awakening from the dream. Each one is an opportunity to let perceptions be healed and errors corrected. Each one is another chance to forgive oneself by forgiving the other. And each one becomes still another invitation to the Holy Spirit and to the remembrance of God. Perception is a function of the body and therefore represents a limit on awareness. Perception sees through the body's eyes and hears through the body's ears. It evokes the limited responses which the body makes. The body appears to be largely self-motivated and independent, yet it actually responds only to the intentions of the mind. If the mind wants to use it for attack in any form, it becomes prey to sickness, age, and decay. You want to know where sickness, age, and decay comes from? Right there. Let me read it again. If the mind wants to use it for attack in any form, the mind becomes prey to sickness, age, and decay. If the mind accepts the Holy Spirit's purpose, the body appears to be largely self-motivated and independent, yet it actually responds only to the intentions of the mind. If the mind wants to use the body for attack in any form, it becomes prey to sickness, age, and decay. If the mind accepts the Holy Spirit's purpose for it instead, it becomes a useful way of communicating with others, invulnerable as long as it is needed, and to be gently laid aside when its use is over. Of itself it is neutral, as is everything in the world of perception. Whether it is used for the goals of the ego or the Holy Spirit depends entirely on what the mind wants. The opposite of seeing through the body's eyes is the vision of Christ. which reflects strength rather than weakness, unity rather than separation, love rather than fear. The opposite of hearing through the body's ears is communication through the voice for God, the Holy Spirit which abides in each of us. His voice seems distant and difficult to hear because the ego, which speaks for the little separated self, seems to be much louder. This is actually reversed. The Holy Spirit speaks with unmistakable clarity and overwhelming appeal. No one who does not choose to identify with the body could possibly be deaf to his messages of release and hope, nor could he fail to accept joyously the vision of Christ in glad exchange for his miserable picture of himself. Christ's vision is the Holy Spirit's gift, God's alternative to the illusion of separation and to the belief in the reality of sin, guilt, and death. It is the one correction for all errors of perception, the reconciliation of the seeming opposites on which the world is based. Its kindly light shows all things from another point of view, reflecting the thought system that arises from knowledge and making return to God not only possible, but inevitable. What was regarded as injustice done to one by someone else now becomes a call for help and for union. Sin, sickness, and attack are seen as misperceptions calling for remedy through gentleness and love. Defenses are laid down because where there is no attack, there is no need for them. Our brothers' needs become our own because they are taking the journey with us as we go to God. Without us, they would lose their way. Without them, we could never find our own. Forgiveness is unknown in heaven where the need for it would be inconceivable. However, in this world, forgiveness is a necessary correction for all the mistakes we have made. To offer forgiveness is the only way for us to have it, for it reflects the law of heaven that giving and receiving are the same. Heaven is the natural state of all the sons of God as He created them. Such is their reality forever. It has not changed because it has been forgotten. Forgiveness is the means by which we will remember. Through forgiveness, the thinking of the world is reversed. The forgiven world becomes the gate of heaven, because by its mercy we can at last forgive ourselves. Holding no one prisoner to guilt, we become free. Acknowledging Christ in all our brothers, we recognize His presence in ourselves. Forgetting all misperceptions, and with nothing from the past to hold us back, we can remember God. Beyond this, learning cannot go. When we are ready, God Himself will take the final step in our return to Him. Okay, that was a little longer reading than I usually do, but I wanted to get that read all today. What's going on around the world? Well, it's the last day of Hanukkah, the Jewish Festival of Lights. Ancestry Day in Haiti. Vasant Panchami in India, also known as Saraswati Puja, which is the honoring of the goddess Saraswati, who's the goddess of knowledge, art, and music. And then out of the Susquehanna, or out of edible landscaping, another pawpaw I want to talk about, an Asamina triloba, Asamina triloba, is the Susquehanna pawpaw, and it's a Peterson pawpaw. Fruits are large, sometimes over a pound, with few seeds. Outstanding, rich, sweet pawpaw flavor and firm, buttery texture, an especially beautiful ornamental tree in the home landscape. Oh, okay, that sounds like a nice one to plant as a specimen tree. Okay, let's see. Do I have time to close with our song? We all know we don't really need to sing our lesson again, but let's see if I can make this so the wind doesn't blow it too strongly, and maybe I can play the lesson that the song that I say, that the introduction. This is a course in miracles. It is a Let's get it right. This is a course in miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way: nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Okay, a little rough start there, but we got it. And just since we have just a second, let's remember just your lesson before you go to sleep tonight. Tell yourself, I have given everything I see in this room, from this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning that it has for me, all the meaning that it has for me. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. And our word for peace is from Spanish today, which is paz. So paz be with you. I have given everything I see in this place all the meaning that it has for me. Paz.